Lucky you. It's time for an Equity Guru Investor Roundtable. Rob Simpson down here in the basement next to TK Indicena, who's across the way there. Up top is Chris Perry, man, myth, legend. And then in the other corner pocket is Vishal Vitura, who's going to start us off in talking about waterways technology, which you might run into in many different places in the world.
Right, Rob. Yeah, so I'm a big fan. I'm bullish on agriculture. I'm not sure if some of you guys have read this, why I'm going big on agriculture after that record heat wave. I spoke about Jim Rogers, and there's also a guy named Bill Gates, who I believe is buying farmland in the States. I believe is the largest private landowner. I mentioned technology. I mentioned weather, supply chain issues, green and clean energy. So I'm really excited. And in this field, ag tech in particular, they're sort of blending, using water properly and water resources and creating, yield, right? Crop yield. And as weather changes, we're going to see more issues with traditional farming, right? When you plant the crops and take them out. So these guys, they develop and they specialize in providing water irrigation solutions to agricultural producers. They have their turnkey projects where they'll design and supply and install these projects, and then they'll also sell components for assembly for those projects. And we're seeing this blend now. Well, that's why it's called agritech, but companies such as Agrify, Farmers Edge, I guess Cubic Farms in a way as well, where they're allowing you to farm and also basically control all the data, have the database, see how, control water levels, see how long it's going to take things to grow. It's all technology based, and I think this is really the future. Project-wise, as Rob said, they're all over the place. They have projects in China, Mexico, Ethiopia, Georgia, I think Laos and Peru, and just recent news is a 900,000 project in Vietnam with dates, medjool dates, believe it or not, growing medjool dates. So you can do anything with their technology, grow and cultivate anything.
They have vineyards, photos of vineyards in Ethiopia. So you can buy land or get access land for basically nothing. And if properly handled, you can turn it into something profitable.
True.
What are you thinking, TK?
I like the agriculture space. Like I mentioned before, one of the previous shows, I'm from a agri civilization back home, where everything is basically rotating around being the most productive and cutting your costs as much as you can. The biggest issue, this is Africa-centric, has been the recent droughts that have plagued most of sub-Saharan Africa. Outside of the geopolitical stuff. And the hardest thing for them to do is set up the infrastructure for some of these irrigation plants. And a company like this that allows them to also outsource that service gives these guys customers or clients, whatever they call them, clients that will be recurring, because you need consultation on the irrigation system, usage of the data. You need to teach the agribusinesses how to use the data ECC, which gives this company a recurring revenue. And instead of this being theory, it's actually reflecting in their numbers. In 2015, they had $5 million in sales. And after the last 12 months, the total was close to $11 million in sales. So that they doubled their sales in a 5-year, 6-year period. And this is an agribusiness. Not a lot of people are talking about the agri space like that, and they don't see that growth because they focus more on the high-tech cloud and all that. But here's a business doing that. Which is probably why the stock popped on this information, as more people are getting accustomed to the combination of the two. I think the fun fact from their report is that they're moving a lot of their assets to Asia as well. So I think it's specifically China. And that's a really massive population that is most, I think it's 40% agri still right now, and 60% in the service industry. So they have a large addressable market with the tailwind of China, with a growing middle income that's going to need more more food and sustainability and stuff like that. So they're perfectly poised to experience a great tailwind as a business.
I was just going to quickly say on TK's point there. I think agriculture, not many people pay too much attention to it. It's very under the radar. People are looking at technology and cryptocurrency, but I think this whole idea of agriculture, we've seen the recent climate, weather changes here. People are talking about that, but I want to bring this up. This was actually just announced today, but the first time ever, the US has declared a water crisis or a drought in the Colorado River, and it's going to be affecting farmers mostly in Arizona. So they're going to have to cut back on their water usage starting in January of next year. So it's already beginning. I think more money is going to start, or more investors will start looking at climate change and what that's going to do to the ag business. And as I said, I've been focusing and looking at companies that have technology that can, save water, but also increase yield and grow things in a sustainable way without worrying about the weather.
That raises a devil's advocate question for me, though, on a very basic level. Is on a continent where I've been a couple of times and seen people struggling to have water, most of them.
Yeah.
These people are promoting 100% automatic water supply system. So where are they getting their water? Where is it coming? Is this another case of exploiting the Africans? It's like, where's this water coming from if most people don't have water?
That's a good question.
Part of the conundrum with water is getting it to crops. Part of it is getting to people, right? Yep. If the crops have to be watered and it's all coming from the same river, throwing gigantic sprinkler systems that just toss the water in the air and hope it lands somewhere and doesn't land in too much of a number is the worst way to do it, right? Half that water is evaporating before it hits the ground. So what Waterways is doing is a drip irrigation system, right? So instead of just tossing an acre of water on ground and not knowing really what it's going to do and hoping in the end it all works out, you lace the farmland with little irrigation pipelines that drip the water out under the ground so that you're controlling exactly how much is being used. It's all going into the crop instead of part of it. And you can turn it off if it's raining, right? You can turn it on extra hard if it's a drought. But what you're generally doing is using a ton less water than you would otherwise be doing. So this allows those African people who are generally, looking for every bit of food they can find to actually produce crops in a sustainable way, a more effective way, feed more people, and hopefully those crops are staying local. They're not being flown over here in shipping containers like we currently do with fruit and veg from South America.
Go around the table and talk about it strictly from an investor standpoint. So if I've got money and I'm thinking about Waterways tech.
I think I'm a bit biased, like I said, because I love agriculture. I think that's going to be where the big returns are going to be in the future because it's so under the radar. Waterways technology stock-wise, let's look at some of their numbers here. They are up 260% year to date. So we've had big moves. I wish I was buying it on that range. And I think I did look at this previously, but it broke that range at the beginning of this year. And once a range breaks after a downtrend, technically you're starting an uptrend. And just recently we saw a 15% move on the news of the Vietnam project here, which also took the stock above May highs here. So we're at a breakout level. Likely the momentum will continue with that type of news. And I think this is moving higher, so I'm a buyer.
Okay.
I think with this one, like Vishal is saying, they just had a meteoric rise because of the news that's coming out. So I am selling some put options. So I'm basically being paid to wait for an appropriate price. And I mean, that's a free lunch if you ask me.
What are you doing with my money, CP?
$26 million market cap, and they've got contracts in a ton of countries. Those contracts aren't large, right? So scalability is probably an issue here. In order to really get this out there, they'd have to build up a sales group, they'd have to build up the ability to deliver in a lot of different places. A software company can go from 0 to 1 million clients in an afternoon, as long as you have a hefty server. When you're going out and installing technology into a field, and each of those installs is going to be for a different crop and have different local situation. Like you're going to have someone sticking around for a while to train people how to use the tech. there's a lot of things there. So I don't see this as being something that's going to necessarily bust out overnight. But I like the $26 million market cap. Look, if anyone knows how to grow a ton of food in the desert with minimal water, it's Israel, right? It's like, you've got on one side desert with no farming anywhere, on the other side lush fields of green. Now, admittedly, not to get all political, but the Israelis are kind of good at diverting the water away from the Palestinians to themselves. That doesn't always work in other countries. But taking the political out of it, look, they've been doing this for a long time. What they're doing with this technology now is they're turning it into something where a farmer can stand in the field, point a tablet at the crop, figure out what the makeup of the soil, how much watering has been done, how much growth has been. Like, they're putting it to a place where farming could be profitable in North America again. Because right now, over the last several decades, big farm, not farmer, but farm in the US has managed to squeeze out all the little guys, and they've made it such a quantity over quality enterprise that now they're starting to lose margin themselves, right? If you can grow wheat in Utah at Utah land prices, but you can also grow it in Ethiopia, then you're going to grow it in Ethiopia. This technology allows you to take control of that area back. If the Colorado River is not delivering what it used to, and it isn't, then there's billions of dollars worth of ag in California that need to learn how to do more with less. And this is coming just at the right time. I think the market moves are demonstrating that. And I would certainly have a nice big flutter on this at this price.
We should say it's not just fruit and vegetables, but you can also grow cannabis in the desert too.
Everybody's buying. Everybody's buying at least a little bit here. Everybody's buying a little bit here.
Right. Sometimes investing, it feels like a really shitty business because, hey, the military stocks are going up. Cool, let's make some money. Oh, oil and gas. Let's make some money. What if we like a good option to me? It's something that I can talk to a girl at a party and not feel like a dick.
What if we started to
people? And we're not making any more water, right? We're kind of stuck with the amount that we have. We're certainly not making any more land. So the ability to squeeze more out of what we've got and maybe be a little bit less shitty in the off products, it seems like a really good move to me. I would put money into this, not just to make money off it, but because I would like this to be more of a thing.
That's true.
I want to start the Equity.Guru divining rod business. You remember the old divining rods where you hold the thing and you walk around? Come on. Like it's very
genius move.
Very traditional.
Dollars, not water.
Do those work, by the way? I'm trying to remember. There's your advice, and people out there, take it, run with it, or not, because you're ultimately responsible for your own investment decisions. We're just giving you some guidance and some education. So please, past performance does not guarantee future results. And good luck with everything. We'll talk to you next time. This has been the Waterways Technology Equity Guru Investor Roundtable. See you next time.